off?
We're ready.
Oh, I thought it was Chris that starts off.
No, he announces the speakers.
Okay.
And
Who's after him? Hello, everybody. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming once again to the Bitcoin and Open Blockchain Meetup. We're kicking off the new year with some great speakers. Happy to see a great turnout. Everyone's excited to hear more about cryptocurrency. People aren't scared yet, right? No, not feeling like it's the bear market. We're still coming back. So quick introductions. My name is Paul Pui. I'm CEO and co-founder of Edge. So our company here is a self-custody exchange application. How many people here are new to cryptocurrency? Just kind of here to coming here to learn? Awesome. So our app is one that you can use to buy, sell, and trade crypto, but most importantly, you hold your own keys, meaning you hold your own funds. You get a much higher level of privacy than most of the apps that you see and services you see out there. So definitely do invite you to install it, edge.app, really simple domain. You can get to the App Store and Play Store. It is on mobile. As well, we have a help desk every week in person. You can call, email for support, but we're, I think, the only company in the cryptocurrency space that you can actually meet with a support person in person. It's kind of limited. We do 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. every Thursday, actually downstairs at Portal Coffee. So nice outdoor patio. It's gorgeous. You know, it's right by Waterfront Park. Maybe go indoors if it's raining. So definitely check it out. And for today as well, we have a help desk actually here in the office just for the meetup. You can go into the conference room over in the back right. You'll see the big sign. If anyone is interested, maybe right after the speakers, head over there. We can help you get installed, answer any questions about cryptocurrency up until the meetup is kind of officially over. As well, I'd like to thank our sponsors. So obviously Edge is one of the sponsors, as well Coinstructive, which, oops, the slide was up here, but it looks like we glitched. But Coinstructive, Chris Gauchong, if you are here, raise your hand. He's one of the organizers, as well as one of, there he is, whoops, right behind me. I'm too tunnel visioned into the audience. As well, Portal Coffee is actually one of our sponsors as well. They help with some of the logistics with drinks, so thank them for helping out with the event. As well, Andrew, who helps with the AV, right in the back corner over here. He's for hire if you ever need any video, AV, photography services. Look him up. I'm assuming you'll take Bitcoin and crypto for your services. Absolutely, exactly. Just about all of us will take Bitcoin and crypto for our services. So thanks a lot for Andrew for helping out with the meetup. As well, we have a raffle. Every meetup we do raffle out $50 of Bitcoin. So there should be QR codes around. This is one of the QR codes. Really just sign up, register for the newsletter for the meetup and for Edge, and you'll get entered to win the raffle, which we do at the end of the, I was going to say conference. This is turning into a little mini conference, but at the end of the meetup. And with that, I've got a few more announcements from our HR and Facilities Coordinator, Madison.
Hello, thank you for being here. I'm sure you're going to hear that a bunch of times, but it really does make a difference. We really enjoy having you all here, and it's just good vibes, so keep coming. I do have two announcements. One is Edge is hiring a senior front-end engineer, and you can come to me if you or someone you know is a great referral. I do all the hiring, and you can also find all of our job descriptions on LinkedIn. And my second announcement, our meetup is always looking for volunteers. May that be day of ops, so just kind of getting things logistically running smoothly, or just finding speakers. Say you know somebody who would be a great speaker, shoot them my way. That's a great way to volunteer, and I can always write you a 5-star great volunteer letter. Yeah, I will pass it over to Chris. He's gonna lead us into the speakers.
Happy New Year, everybody. Well, we haven't completely crashed to shit, so we're still hanging out, and there's a lot of people that showed up today still. So thank you all for coming out during these, special times that we're in. So it's great that so many of you did come out tonight, because we are really getting into this stride. I don't know, I've seen some familiar faces. I see a lot of new faces tonight. How many people this is their first San Diego Bitcoin Meetup? Nice. That's like half of the group. Awesome. All right. That's really cool. I want to start out by saying that this group is probably one of the best meetup groups that I've ever been a part of, involved, met up at around the country. I've been to a lot of them. Other than snafus for Bitcoin not making the payment all the way through for pizza tonight, most of the time, right, we're doing really fun stuff. We're getting cool speakers. We're getting beer and pizza for everybody so that we can bring together the community, because this is what it's about. It's about all of us together, not just the people on stage, because without everybody, this industry wouldn't even exist, right? It's been a struggle from the very beginning, and all of you people here are helping to move us forward as a society. This is definitely like a really powerful thing that we're all a part of. So thank you for being here and taking time out of your busy schedules. So again, my name is Chris Groshong, and I am the founder of Coinstructive. We do a couple of things in the space. We focus on crypto fraud investigations. So like if you know people who have had their funds stolen or been scammed, you can send them to us and we help. We also train law enforcement, because a lot of times you give them the investigation and a report, they don't know what to do with it yet. We're still in very new times, right? So that's one thing we do. We also do money transmission licensing, and we do compliance for Bitcoin ATM companies and crypto OTC desks. So we see a lot of the different sides of fraud, scams, and the same thing, like people who are trying to not just perpetuate, but who are being taken advantage of too. So you know, be diligent. There's always, somebody always knows somebody on Telegram who's got the next coolest hot thing. Be careful, because even airdrops now are malicious. There's code in those airdrops. They're going in, they're getting their code, they're getting their wallets and their private keys, and then they're sweeping wallets completely. So nothing is free in crypto. So be aware. That's my consumer protection part of the talk tonight. So before, without any further ado, what I'd like to do is bring up our first speaker. His name is Bill Fehr, and he is part of a company called PolySwarm, who previously actually presented here for this meetup. Well, not at this place, but back in the day, 2017, right? And because of that meetup, Bill got a job in the crypto industry, right? Because of this meetup and our speakers, right? So this is proof to the pudding, right? Like, come to the meetups, get involved, and good things will happen. If you want to be in this space, you can make a way for yourself. So give a big round of applause for Bill Fehr and PolySwarm.
Thank you. Can you hear this? Is it not too loud? It's okay? Okay, good. Yeah, thank you very much, and it's great to be here. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Paul, for having me. It's true. I came looking for what I was going to do next in life to a Bitcoin meetup, my first ever, to Paul Pouet's Bitcoin meetup in a different, smaller space in July of 2017. And these two guys, and I'll back up in a second and let you know about the industry we're in, but these two guys were presenting a white paper, which is very, for those of you that are somewhat new, it's a very common thing to do when you're doing an initial coin offering or an ICO. You go around and you talk to everybody about what your concept is. You basically are presenting a white paper, your business idea, right? So these two guys, Paul Mikowski and Ben Schmidt, were talking about this company called PolySwarm, which was going to do something in the cybersecurity space and use an ERC20 token. I'm in the audience and I'm thinking, okay, I know what an ERC20 token is. And I had been in crypto for actually quite some time at that point, but not working in a blockchain or a crypto company. And I came out of this meeting and I said to Paul, I ran into him 2 weeks later at the San Diego airport, and I said, who were those guys? That was really fascinating. I didn't understand any of the cybersecurity stuff, but it was really interesting. And I said, where are those guys? And they said, they're here, they're in Little Italy. So I called them, and that was about that same time, so about 2 weeks after the meetup, and I was hired as the first employee. And then a lot has happened since then. Well, I'll get into all that other stuff, or maybe later while we're having beers, I can tell you about all that stuff that happened afterwards as far as to my life and moving to Tokyo and now living in Puerto Rico and where these guys took me and all this stuff that I've done. But let me get into what the company is and explain to you how we're using crypto, which I think is probably your main reason for being here. And I saw from the hands at the beginning that for about half of you, that crypto is pretty new concept. Okay, so I may spend a little bit of time on what an Erc20 token is. It's the tokens that run on the Ethereum blockchain. But let me back up. The business we're in is security. Now, what part of security we're in? We're in the cybersecurity part. And what part of cybersecurity are we in? We're in threat intelligence. So think malware, think ransomware, think Trojans that come into your computer on a piece of malware and sit and just watch what you're doing. That world, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of malicious stuff. So you'll hear that word from me a few times in the next 20 minutes. So that is the space we're in. And what we did was, the guys I'm with, the founders, Ben and Steve and Paul, we and Nick, we looked at the space. They looked at the space back in 2016, 2017, and they said, "Wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could get the expert?" They were all in the security business. If we could get experts like ourselves from all around the world and the big guys, all in one place, in one kind of platform, one environment, and design it in such a way where anybody can access it with a single point of access, and then get the threat intelligence they need out of it to protect their enterprises. And that's exactly what we built. So think of it as Airbnb for threat intelligence for security. So on one side we have it's a marketplace. On one side we have suppliers, and there's big household names you may have heard of like SentinelOne, Kaspersky, CrowdStrike. They're in there, as well as a whole bunch of other security companies, including the individual experts. That's our supply side. So the Airbnb analogy, those are the people with apartments and houses. And on the other side, we have consumers. And consumers in this world, in the security industry, they're consuming threat intelligence. They're big enterprises. So this isn't like your own laptop. Maybe someday it'll get there, but this is big enterprises. So anybody moving a lot of data: banks, hospitals, governments, big tech companies, big security companies. All of these enterprises, they have security operation centers, and they buy threat intelligence, or they need to access threat intelligence as part of their daily jobs. Because in this world of malware and cybersecurity, there's millions of new threats emerging every day. It's just a huge Tower of Babel, and the problem's getting worse. So it's a big problem. Which in the industry we're in, it's also a big opportunity if you're a good guy and you're in threat intelligence. So that's what we built. We built a two-sided marketplace. Now, let me back up for a second. The three questions that I get most common are: what is PolySwarm? Why do you need a token? And then how did you get into crypto, and how did you get into PolySwarm? Kind of answered the how did I get into PolySwarm already. I've kind of given you an outline of what this two-sided marketplace is. But why do we need a token? So the way the marketplace works is the companies, these big enterprises that need threat intelligence, they send in to the marketplace what we call an artifact. Think of it as a PDF, a Word doc, a URL, IP address. They send it into this marketplace. This is all at machine speed, right? There's no humans involved. And they want an opinion back. And what they're asking is, just very simply, is it benign or is it malicious? And that's what they're asking. And they do this at scale. So think millions and millions of questions coming in every day saying, is this PDF that I have, is it malicious or is it benign? And then when that artifact goes into the marketplace, all these engines are sitting in there. We call them engines. It's software. They're all done differently. Every expert they have artificial intelligence. They have all these different ways of doing whatever their engine is. We don't care. What we did is we created their environment for them. Again, we're Airbnb. We're not making houses or apartments. So whatever their expertise is, and there's all kinds of experts. There's all kinds of new technology, new expertise coming online every day. They're in there, and they look at the artifact that comes in, and they all weigh in. And this is where it gets more interesting, and this is why we use a token. They do this, and what we've designed is called a game theory design. When they weigh in, and what they're saying is, hey, we think it's a malicious, or hey, we think it's benign. When they do that, they have to put money where their mouth is. And they do that with a cryptographic token, ours, which is an ERC20 Ethereum token. It's called Nectar, or NCT. And so what they're saying, yeah, it's benign, here's one token. And the other guy's saying it's malicious, here's one token. And that makes a pot of 2 tokens, right? And then the guy that sent that artifact in to begin with, let's say a big bank, they put, let's say, a half token to incentivize the engines to begin with. Everybody participating in this ecosystem has to use real money in the form of this utility token, this Erc20 token that we have. So that makes a pot of 2.5 tokens, represented in real value, right? And then that information goes back up to the person that asked for it, and they can see that, oh, this one engine said it's malicious, this one said benign, and we look at the reputation. In this case, we look at the reputation of one of those as a better reputation, then we're going to probably go with that opinion. Or let's say there's 3 people that say three engines say it's benign and one says it's malicious. Then they'll say, okay, 3 said it's benign. Their reputations are all about the same, including the one guy that said it's malicious. Then we're just going to go with the fact that it's benign, and we're going to let that email go through to our employee. This is all happening at machine speed. This is just in seconds, right? And at scale, so millions and millions of times. That's why we use a token. And so tokens are really good at accounting for it. And then the other reason we use a token is, how do you pay a guy? Think of our experts in there. A lot of these people are individuals. We got an expert in Latvia. How do you pay a guy in Latvia $3 that his engine maybe made this week? Remember, these engines are just sitting in there. They're passive. These guys have day jobs or doing whatever. Or maybe the engine made $30, or maybe made $300. How do you transfer that value to him? Crypto is really good at that. So really, how do you do that in a traditional banking system? It's almost impossible, and it would have fees. So it's really easy to kind of transfer or reward people with our token, and it's really easy to account for all these millions of transactions with our token. So that's why we're using it. That's why we're using a token. Any questions? Go ahead.
The slowness and expensiveness of the Ethereum network ever disrupt what you guys are doing?
Sure, good question. So we are running side chains so we can hit the volume and the speed that we need to hit, and then we will settle everything up to the Ethereum ledger in batches. So that's how we're handling that.
Do you have
Yeah.
plans to go to a different blockchain like Solana or something?
No plans right now, but the world's changing, and but no plans right now. Big fans of the guys that made Ethereum. It was when we did the company, it was the only blockchain that was out there that was operating successfully. So we went with that, and it's been a good experience. But who knows how things are going to change in the future? To your point. Yeah. Yes.
So is that similar to a mining pool? I mean, that sounds like a mining pool.
So there's kind of deeper explanations and deeper layers to what's going on, but this kind of putting money where your mouth is kind of thing that the engines are doing, it's kind of like mining, right? They're kind of staking and then seeing who's right. So back into the security world, there's this thing called that goes on with malware that we call ground truth. It takes about 3 weeks. This is how the industry already works. So if something comes out new on the malware landscape, a couple security companies might say, hey, that looks dangerous, or somebody might do some research and flag it. The rest of them don't have it yet. They'll look at blogs, they'll update their signatures, they'll do some research with their teams. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the entire industry worldwide to kind of go all green or all red on something that's new and emergent. And remember, this is tons of stuff every day. So what we're doing, it's a good question, because what we're doing with the token, and this is another good thing for the token to do, is that we take that enterprise needs that information back right now, like within a few seconds. Is this malicious or is this benign, right? So what we're doing is we're taking that pot, if you will, those 2.5 cents in my example, and we're escrowing it for 3 weeks, and we don't release those tokens until the ground truth is established by the industry. So we don't have a hand in it, and there's no private company or kind of hand of God making an opinion. The industry just kind of decides after about 3 weeks that this was malicious or this was benign. And then we release and here's how it's released. So the engine that was right, they get their token back. They get a half token from the enterprise that put it on the artifact to begin with, and then they get the token from the losing side. So that's where it's a competitive game theory design. These engines are competing with each other. So that's what's going on. Yeah. Now there's some layers below that as well, as far as how to take care of the electricity for some of this stuff, and there are some tiny little fees, but they're almost nominal for the ground truth people.
Would it make sense for any of us to buy some nectar? And
yeah, we don't. Our corporate policies, we don't comment on our token as far as and it's designed for the security industry. So.
Sure.
So how do you monetize this for your company?
For PolySwarm, the people that work there.
Yeah.
Good question. So we and again, there's models for this already existing in the security industry, and I won't bore you with the companies. One of them is Google that does this. They have a big security department at Google. We sit on the edge of the marketplace. We're kind of the caretakers of it. But somebody wants to buy access, a subscription, if you will. And that's kind of how it's referred to in the industry. So let's say there's a big bank, and they want to buy $50,000 worth of threat intelligence. They're gonna, and it's parsed out tiny little microtransactions, millions of them. But we want to buy $50,000 worth of that over, say, the next year. We take that 50 grand for them, so they don't have to mess with the cryptographic token and any of that. We manage that for them. We take a fee for that. So kind of like a prepaid phone card, right? A mobile card. Whereas we're just taking a fee, but the rest of it goes through to the network. So a big chunk of that U.S. dollar gets put into the marketplace to incentivize the engines to take a look at to begin with. And part of it we keep as a fee just to operate the business. But it leads to the other big part, going back to this game theory design. That's only one part of how the token is used. The other part, people just flat out buying access into the threat marketplace. And we help convert that to a token and facilitate all that, manage it, give them reports so they know how much they're spending, what kind of value they're getting back, all of that, right? But keep in mind, the engines are competing with each other. That's no small thing. So they're doing this, thousands, millions of times, and each pot can be a penny, a quarter penny. I mean, I'm not sure what the exact amounts are. They're all microtransactions, but it's at scale, and they're competing with each other. So it creates an environment where the better quality threat intelligence, the right opinion at the right time, gets rewarded, and those companies and those security experts do better, and it incentivizes them to work harder and create new evolve and improve their engines. And it has the bad engines that don't do too well. Either they better work harder or they kind of fade away. So this goes to, and I'm glad you brought this up, this goes to the why. Why did we build this? We built this to make the world safer. It's a good cause, right? I mean, it literally is going to make the world safer from malicious people out there trying to do bad things. And there's unfortunately a lot of bad people out there in the cybersecurity world. So the idea is, we take what an industry that's been kind of old-fashioned. I mean, the cybersecurity antivirus industry is 40 years old now. Peter Norton started it just up in LA, right? And Kaspersky in Russia. And if you look at these companies, and they're all good people, hardworking, very smart, but the industry, if you look at the industry design, each one of these companies has a research department, and they have some contractors, but they're basically researchers, right? And they're mostly working on the same problem. If you look at the malware landscape, it's like a bell curve, right? They're working on 75, 80% of that bell curve. So you got research teams in Norway, you got research teams up in the Bay Area, you got research teams in Moscow, and they're all working on the same problem, updating their signatures, improving their engines. It's very inefficient from an industry design standpoint. So the nature of what we're doing, this is part of the big idea, is, well, let's get everybody together and compete in the same environment. And it doesn't, it doesn't compete against, oddly enough, doesn't compete against these security industries, security companies, because they can access that data too. These guys do a lot more besides just malware signatures, right? But they can access and look at the experts inside PolySwarm. It's just kind of like a big jobs board. I mean, he's just got all these experts. They can't normally, like the kid in Latvia who's providing his expertise. They're not going to fly him over to up to Sunnyvale and hire him there. But they can access his intelligence via this decentralized marketplace, and it's decentralized. And I do think I have enough time to talk a little bit about the tokens. I think that's about Erc20 tokens. People can add their expertise. It can grow without talking to us. You can add your engine in. The design of the marketplace is what makes it perform. The idea that you're putting money where your mouth is, right? You won't last too long if you're losing money and you don't have a very good expertise. Sure.
So what's the monthly value of the market? How much money is given out to
Not much right now. We just threw the switch on mainnet 2 weeks ago, so it's all been we've been using testnet for the last couple of years. Now a testnet, then you can go online at polyswarm.network, and there's a stats link, and it'll show you the stats, dollars, and amount of malicious samples that are being scanned and transactions. I think it's a 7-day trailing average, and I think the testnet, so the fake token, I have to look, but I think it's 500,000 or so right now. Much smaller over on the mainnet, but we're now transferring all these engines that I've kind of been carrying on about onto mainnet right now. So that's, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's as close as I can get.
One sec, let me actually get you on microphone. I want our online viewers to make sure to hear the questions, okay?
So you mentioned that you were using a sidechain for validating your transactions. Where are the nodes running that are
Not validate. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering where are the nodes running that you're using for that?
I don't know. But we're not validating. We have to process them all. But it's all again, we don't have a hand in it. And most of this is done for the few of you that do know the cybersecurity. I know there's a gentleman in back. Most of this is just hashes coming in because companies don't actually want to put their Word doc into a marketplace full of security experts from all around the world because it's not private, right? It's a public environment. There's more on that because we do have a private version of it, but that's a longer discussion. But we don't have a hand in it. We just it goes in and the opinions come back. We're just on the edge. Yeah. And then we record everything. I mean, we're facilitating with that, but we're not touching any of it. Yeah.
So if is this just like generally corporate, or are you able to, like if I found a contract for an NFT or something or an airdrop and I wanted to check if it was malicious before, could just an individual person just plug it in?
Yeah, you can go to polyswarm.network and just drop a file in right now.
Oh,
whatever a URL, whatever, and it'll and the engines will take a look. Yeah, there's a public consumer internet free version of this. Now, you're doing this manually on your desktop right here. I'll grab my Word doc and drop it in. So if you wanted to do it at scale like a company, you'd have to call us up and get a subscription. But yeah, you can do it. You can do it online right now. Yeah, it's live. It's running. It's real. I have been so head down for the last 4 years building PolySwarm with these guys that kidnapped me at the July 2017 Bitcoin Meetup. I don't even know how many other projects are actually live on mainnet doing a business that's really bringing in real money and transacting with their utility tokens or whatever it is. I don't know if it's 5 or 500 or I don't know how many they're doing it, but we're pretty excited that we have arrived at where we've arrived. And it's being well received. We have some pretty big brand names that are using it, paying to use it.
Hi. What prevents bad actors or ABTs from participating in this type of
Sure, good question. The the scale of most of the stuff is pretty small, right? So it takes a lot of effort. If it sounds like you're in the industry or know about it, it takes a lot of effort to make really successful malware. It's not something that you can just throw together in a couple hours. So you're gonna put out a lot of energy to have something that may only return a few dollars. So that's one answer, the scale of it. The other answer is if, let's say, you're a nation state backed, and so you don't really care about the money thing. You're going to have to spend a lot of time building up a good reputation in the marketplace. It's possible, though. A nation state hacker, well-funded team could do that. It would have to be a pretty big play, because as soon as they try to do something malicious, everybody's going to know it's them. Again, if money's no object, then they might do it. So it's not a perfect solution for the cybersecurity industry, but it's a heck of a lot better than how things are happening right now.
We got time for one more question. Any more questions? Well, I have a question. Oh, down here, Lori. Hold on. Hold on.
Where's the incentive to actually solve this problem? I mean, if they solve it, like they have this, super intelligence, going through and just, attacking all of these malicious attacks, then that would end the security industry. I mean, so is there really an incentive to actually solve the problem of hacking and all of this?
I think I understand the question. I mean, why? How do we solve the problem?
I mean, you were saying that a lot of people are doing the same thing. They're trying to, keep this from happening. But what is the incentive for doing that?
Oh, they get paid a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, these seat licenses that companies pay. Like if you work in a large corporation, your company's probably paid a seat license for you, like $50, $60 a year times everybody in your company, and they're running software that just scans things as it comes into your laptop or something like that. There's a lot of money in cybersecurity. It's a very robust and it's a pretty wealthy industry. Because the problem is so big and getting worse, and there's no single. It's very complicated. There's not like one team of 50 researchers at one of these well-known companies that can solve the world's problems. It's just the problem is just so big. If that answers your question, I'm not sure that well I answered it, but it's a big problem, and lots of people are spending money on it, and there's no silver bullet yet. But we hope that PolySwarm is going to really improve things quite a bit, just in the threat intelligence aspect of it. There's a lot of things to cybersecurity. Yes?
Yes, sir. So the question that I had is, thank you for the microphone. So with, I think about this whole idea of kind of like this decentralized antivirus software, and with kind of what we currently have, something that's made by an enterprise. And a lot of this comes down to like the customer support. So what can you speak about the customer support that you guys provide? Because I think that would be my main concern, moving to a decentralized service where it's like random, like faceless people. So I don't know what type of support to expect. So if you could kind of elaborate on that, please. Yeah, well,
kind of like any other good tech company with a support staff, we have a support staff. And so this is for any user will support, but for our paying users, we will set up and support any kind of issues they have. There's getting it set up, there's operating it. There's sometimes if there's any kind of system downtime, we're right on that, and we've got to support that. So we have a support staff that's providing tech support, and that's going pretty well. We'll scale that as more and more people are onboarded into the platform, which is starting to happen on a more frequent basis. We got a new customer this morning, which is pretty exciting.
Cool.
We'll probably wrap this up.
Yeah, we just finished that was our last question.
Thank you so much.
Bill will be around.
Yeah, appreciate
hanging
it.
out afterwards. So if you need to talk to Bill after, please find him. He'll be hanging out.
Yeah, and you just come back to this meeting every month until somebody's doing a white paper, and then join their company.
And that's a great transition to remind everybody that after the second speaker, we're going to do lightning rounds. I forgot to mention that at the opening. So if you have anything, we'll take 5 people who, if you have anything that you are working on, interested in, want to promote yourself, no selling of anything particularly, but as the second speaker is wrapping up with questions and things, go ahead and feel free to start lining up over here by the Edge app sign, and then we'll just bring people up after the speaker, and we'll do one at a time and about a minute apiece. And so our next speaker tonight, I'm actually really excited to listen to him speak. His name is Steve. And Steve used to be a member of the Meetup group originally. He was helping basically do same things that I was. He was getting people in the doors. He was finding speakers. He was teaching people, right? Like, so if you were new and you needed some help, he would sit down. I watched him spend hours with people. He was just very open and very he knew how big this was going to be, and he wanted everybody to be a part of it. He's got a super huge heart. And he's always doing great things for this industry. He has been everything that you could possibly think of in this industry. He's probably had a hand in it. So because he's been doing crypto longer than I have. And so, marketplaces and ways to build communities around tokens, and finding ways for people to kind more like an agorist kind of type of thing, and being like together, right? And like we don't always need somebody else telling us what to do and what we want to do and share our value. So I think it's great that he's here tonight, and he's doing something completely different than when I had first met him. I didn't even know he was into art or had an aspiration of an inkling to art. So this is the great thing about this industry, is that even that deep down passion that you had, you didn't think actually maybe even pertained to crypto. Now we're finding that pretty much everything pertains to crypto in one way or another. So I'm really excited to have Steve Minnaar here today, former San Diego Bitcoin Meetup founder and host, to come up to the stage and present today.
On button. Check, check. You can hear, all right? So can I have everyone I want to make a statement. And got to help me here. So I tend to talk loud, so you might have to adjust that. The brain can only endure, or can only absorb as much as the butt can endure. So I'd like everyone to just stand up real quick, flex those muscles, get the blood flowing, and then we can talk. So all right, good. So you can just sit down as you're ready. So how many of you collect NFTs already? Awesome. Cool. So you kind of have an introduction, you know how it's working. How many of you like art? And my favorite question, how many of you are creative? And everybody's hand should go up, right? So the cool thing about this whole industry in this world right now is that now we can take those crazy ideas that we had, and we can actually start monetizing them, because through cryptocurrency, through NFTs, the art can now go global, and you can actually build a business and survive and do something you really love. And whether it's, I have a good friend who's a writer who writes great stuff, and he's posted some stuff up online that's cool. You can monetize, poetry or short stories, music, and obviously images, which we're all familiar with. So my talk tonight is I'm going to talk about how creators and collectors can capitalize on the growing NFT collectibles marketplace. But before I jump into that, I just have to really quickly give credit where credit is due and show my gratitude for Paul and the whole team here, Joelle, Madison, everybody, Chris, who's put this together and kept this going for the last 8, 9, 10 years, however long it's been. What a long road it's been, and kudos to you guys for keeping it going. And Paul, thank you. So give him a big hand, please. I took a vacation for a couple of years, so these guys deserve all the credit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of scroll through. I've got my good old school PDF presentation here, so it shows even guys like I can do okay in the crypto world. But what I want to talk about is, as I go through this presentation, you'll see some of my artwork in there because I figured I'd keep it visually appealing, except for this one. Some of you guys might know what that is. We'll talk about that later. But the opportunities for creatives and collectors are greater than ever before. We'll talk about some of the recent eye-popping NFT sales. Some of you heard of the Beeple NFT, sold for $69 million. The Banksy burn. Anybody have heard of Banksy, the incredibly successful artist? This might, okay. They burned a physical artwork, recorded a video of it, turned it into an NFT, auctioned it, and generated $380,000. The Banksy print, it was just a print, I believe maybe cost them $20,000, $30,000 or something. So it's very interesting what they were able to do. Memes. How many of you have ever seen the side-eyed Chloe meme on the internet? So Google that. I promise you it's worth it. It'll just crack you up. So I would have played it here, but we don't have enough time. They sold that little video clip, the family of the daughter who was featured in it, very cute, for $75,000. So if you have any funny video of your little kids, who knows, maybe you can NFT it and pay for their college or something. So Damien Hirst is one of the world's most successful living artists, conceptual artist. He became famous for doing the shark in formaldehyde cut in half and won the Turner Prize for that. So kind of art a lot of people don't understand, and sometimes I usually don't either. But one of his recent projects is he created 10,000 original dot paintings. So he's very familiar for these dot paintings. And he sold them as NFTs first. How many of you are familiar with that project called The Currency? So he called it The Currency. He sold 10,000 NFTs at $2,000 a piece. Who's good at math? What does that come out to? 20 million, right? Good guy. $20 million last spring he generated on this NFT drop. And his business model was, you'll buy the NFT. Oops, we lost our connection here, so might need help with that in a minute. So he sold these NFTs at $2,000 a piece. They sold out, and owners of the NFT have an option for the next 12 months. You can either keep the NFT, and they're going to burn the physical artwork that the NFT was based off of. So these are actually physical paintings. At the end of 12 months, you have to make that choice. Do you keep the physical, or do you keep the NFT, and they're going to burn the other? So I was fortunate enough to buy one of those, and I got one for $2,000. And within a month or two, I was offered $50,000 for that. I should have sold it, right? Those paintings are now going for an average of $20,000. Some people are burning the NFTs and keeping the physicals. Some are going to burn the physicals and just keep the NFTs. It'll be interesting to see how that develops in the marketplace. So he called his series The Currency. Yeah, it's okay. Just a timeout issue. So there we are. Touch it regularly. I know, so high maintenance, right? So let's talk about NFT use cases. Obviously, we talked about digital art or digitized art. So Damien's project, he did both. He took, give you the option. You can have digitized art, based off of a real artwork, a physical artwork, or you can get the digital. Cool thing about the technology is you can build in recurring royalties. So you create an artwork, sell an NFT. When that gets sold to someone else, you can build in a royalty coming right back to you as an artist. So in my talk, I'm going to talk a little bit about how, as creators, you can create and profit in this industry. But I'm also going to talk about, as collectors, what to look for and how you can profit as a collector. Because the collectibles market is super red hot right now. I read an article the other day that the Lego sets have outperformed the stock market and the gold market the last 10, 20 years. So collectibles are super, super hot. The way I like to use it is what's called a digital certificate of authenticity for physical assets. So my artwork is all physical, but I create an NFT that creates a provenance. How many of you are familiar with that term, provenance? So what matters is that chain of title in that artwork from the creator himself all the way through to the current owner or the current collector. That is roughly 80-90% of the value of a lot of the major artworks today. If you know who owned it and you have a traceable history, you can validate and you can authenticate that artwork. So I use NFTs as a digital certificate of authenticity. It's further evidence of the authenticity of the physical artwork that's accompanying it. So platforms and marketplaces. A lot of these names, those you already know about. Ethereum was first to market, and platforms like OpenSea, Rarible, Super Rare are doing extremely well. I think OpenSea was valued at, I don't know, $3-4 billion. It's lots of money, right? And there's new platforms now that are built on Bitcoin as sidechain. So there's the Liquid Network. So Mentalio.com and Raretoshi.com. So many of you know there's a lot of hardcore Bitcoiners who want to support Bitcoin type projects. Liquid Network was kind of slow. I mean, Bitcoiners are kind of slow to the NFT marketplace, but there's a lot of pent up demand. So if you're an artist creating art, I recommend you consider looking at the Liquid Network platforms as another avenue to put your work out, because there's a lot of pent up demand there of people who want to support Bitcoin related projects. So think about that. Let's see if I can scroll through here. So I want to talk about keys to success for creators and keys to success for collectors. So as a creator, we have to remember that you're not only an artist, you're a business person. So you have to create a business plan and think about how you're going to build your business. So have a long-term commitment and a long-term plan. Obviously, you always want to create your best work possible and strive to improve your work with each new piece that you create. And so when you're doing that, you're going to build your brand. You are building a brand. You are your brand as an artist. Identify or create a target niche or a target market. So who are your people? Who's your tribe? Who do you relate to? And your product and your brand are your business. I would argue that brand is, you looked at that dot painting earlier, right? People buy it because it's Damien Hirst, and he's got a reputation, and there's a market for it. So you have to build your brand. Of course, treat it like a business. So here's something that a lot of artists make a big mistake with, and I think this is where you can actually profit from as a collector and an artist. So what you want to do in the beginning is price your work ridiculously low in the beginning, and then steadily raise prices as demand increases. So you get the early adopters an opportunity to come in and pick up your stuff on the cheap when you're a nobody, when nobody's heard of you. And hopefully you can build a nice reputation, quality art, and you can have that slowly rising market and values to where you can be compensated for your time in the future. So you can raise your prices as time goes on. So control your output and maintain scarcity. Make sure that your supply is less than the demand for your work, and then work like the devil to build demand, right? Bitcoin, why is it so valuable? It's scarce. There's only so much released every 10 minutes, over 100, I don't know, to 2140 or whatever it is. So you have a very scarce, limited supply. Demand's rising. What happens to price? The same works with your artwork. So think of your art as a currency of limited supply and try and build demand. So stick to originals. Originals just sell better. And if you can price them low in the beginning, people appreciate that. There's something magical about holding a physical, original artwork on your wall that will never go away. So that's something that, if you can keep it original, you're going to do a lot better. Don't do multiples, don't do additions until you have a big enough following, because it's not going to help you. Build a community of loyal fans and collectors. We'll talk about ways to do that. And here's the key thing. Like any business, your customer is number one, right? As an artist, your collectors and your fans are your number one. So you treat them like gold and do whatever you can to give them the best experience and maybe the best first notice of whatever you bring out with your artworks. So you have to earn their respect and their loyalty. So it's not something that comes easily. But let's jump to collectors. So who are collectors again? Raise your hand. People who collect. Okay. So first of all, buy only what you like and what you wouldn't mind owning, regardless of what the price does, right? So if you can put it on your wall, enjoy it, or put it on your flat screen now with digital art, if you like it, buy it. If you make a profit down the road, that's just a bonus, right? Pick a theme or multiple themes for your collection. You know, whether it be traditional themes like landscapes, seascapes, nudes, abstracts, ideas, memes. The meme market is pretty cool right now. There's a lot of that going on. So as a collector, this is one thing that you can do as a collector to build the value of your collection, is you're building your own brand too. So anybody heard of the Getty Museum? Right? That's a brand. Getty is a brand, and they built their collection. So it's the Getty collection. So what's your name, sir? Bo? Bo? So just for fun, let's talk about the Bo collection, right? So how does that sound? It sounds pretty cool, right? So once you accumulate a collection, you can actually build a value in your collection. Maybe open your own museum or whatever you want to do, like the Getty did, right? So you can create your own brand as a collector. And then promote your work, promote it and show it off, because anything you can do to support the artists you collect is going to benefit you as well. So anything you can do to promote those works is going to help you. Hold long term, especially when you're working with new and emerging artists. Help them develop that market. So you want to hold long term. Don't dump the artwork, right? We know what dumping happens. It depresses prices. So you have some alternatives. Buy the dips so you can defend your investment. So if you own a large collection of someone and some new pieces come on the market, you can actually defend the values of that market by picking up those and maintaining that market, the floor price, so to speak. So okay, so let me jump over. A couple other things you can do as investors. I'm finishing over here. I talked about it already. Focus on artists where the demand for their work is higher than their supply. Identify and acquire promising new artists early, and then accelerate your positions as they prove themselves. Aim to build a legacy with your collection. This is stuff that you can pass on to your kids that can do extremely well. I think Picasso's first works sold for about $800 in the US for about 26 artworks. Imagine the guy who bought all those and what that did. As opposed to selling, check this out. If you have a big collection and you want to raise cash, if you just dumped it all in the market, that could depress prices. Alternative strategy is donate it to a museum at the current market value, get a tax write-off at the full value, and you maintain scarcity in the market for that artwork, plus you get that incredible tax benefit. So there's a lot of things you can do there financially with these types of assets. So the art world is one of the unknown secrets or best kept secrets in finance. Art can do incredible things. Okay, let's talk about a case study. So naturally I'll talk about my project. Hopefully it'll give you guys some ideas. So my concept is it's not only an art collection, but it's also a Bitcoin treasure hunt. So it's scarce original art, everything from sculptures to conceptual art to paintings that you've seen some in here. And on the back of each painting is a clue to a hidden Bitcoin treasure. There's 24 clues out there, much like 24 words of a passphrase. Collect those clues, put them in the right order, and right now the treasure is over 1 full Bitcoin. You can go take those Bitcoins. If someone discovers that, takes the Bitcoins, we re-scramble the words, fund it again, and keep the game going. So imagine, it's hard to put 24 words in the right order. There's a lot of combinations, so it's like winning the lottery, right? But just imagine 200 years from now, your grandkids looking at your art collection on the wall, and they're getting countless hours of entertainment trying to crack that sucker, because there's maybe, what's the value of Bitcoin 20, 30, 100 years, 200 years from now? If that one Bitcoin. Wouldn't that be cool, right? So my target market, obviously art lovers, collectors, traders, cryptocurrency enthusiasts. I have a limited supply, so I built my business model around 3 things. Obviously art lovers. Number 2, cryptocurrency people. And number 3, collectors, collectibles, the collectibles market. So I have limited supply. I create and release one new artwork per day over 10,000 days. So I still got about 25 years to go to finish the project. I may live that long, I may not, but that's about the average life expectancy for someone my age, right? So you can guess my age there. So current supply is less than 500 in the wild. So this is an extremely scarce collection. So make that what you will, but it's kind of fun. Prices are rising. My community, of course, my most valuable assets are my collectors. And of course, my goal is to give them the best work that I can create. So let's talk about some of the other features of my work. Anybody know what this image is here? Come on, all you old school guys, you recognize that? That's your homework. Go figure out what that is. So it's a clue. I got lots of clues and things in all my artwork. So who knows it? Recognize the image? Not one. What's that? No. Okay, it's time. Silk Road. Anybody know what Silk Road is? Go look up the logo, and I just colorized it, so it's kind of fun. So there's a history there. It's kind of cool. I'm not involved in it, but I thought it was pretty cool. So the way I use my work, I mentioned before, I use NFTs as digital certificates of authenticity. So we have a chain of title that can validate the authenticity of your artwork, and you can know it's not counterfeit if you can produce that NFT certificate of authenticity. I have multiple mini-series in my artwork, so I have all kinds of crazy stuff in there. You'll just have to go play around on the website and check it out. The price rises daily as supply drops. I launched this series at $10 an artwork 7 months ago. How many of you in here picked up some at $10? We have a few collectors back here. Current price today is $357 per artwork. It's going up $1 a day right now. Over a 3,000% gain in that time frame. Only 500 in circulation. So price rises daily as supply drops. And one thing I'll mention about it is we call it mystery artworks because I'm on a 90-day back order now, and that time frame is extending. So you can buy today, lock in the price, and then it's a mystery what you're going to get. But the reason I call it the Minnaar Money Project is because every Minnaar can be traded one for any other Minnaar I produce now or in the future. So you can trade them back and forth, one to one, anything I produce down the road. It might be a little drawing or a huge mural. You can trade your little one in for the big one and get a full, even exchange. And you can collect clues along the way, so the more you trade, the better you do. So my legacy and commitment, this is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life. And it's my goal to create a body of work that will be enjoyed for generations. So that's where I'm going with it. Remember that Damien Hirst dot painting earlier? The one I bought for $2,000? I got offered $50,000 for it. How many of you have ever heard the term called appropriation art? So I gave an example earlier, the Banksy burn, right? They took that Banksy artwork, they burned it, and created an entirely new art piece out of an existing one. So Damien's project is called the currency, but a currency at 20 to 50,000 a pop is not a really good currency, is it, right? It's hard to make change when you're buying or trading with it. So I thought I'd do something clever, and I cut it up into 630 squares, 1 centimeter each. And I created a new art series called Small Change. So I made a small change to his artwork. So now, as part of my Minnaar Money series, each one's individually numbered. You can own 1/630th of a Damien Hirst painting, which is kind of cool, but I made a small change. So we'll see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a drawing to give away one of those. And the way you get in on the drawing is just go to my Telegram group, join the group, Minnaar Money Group, and I'll have a drawing on Thursday, and we'll be giving away one of those. So to look at examples of my work, I've got the websites here. Check it out. And I think that's it for now, so I can answer questions. I don't want to keep you guys any longer than we have to. So any questions, just raise your hand.
Questions.
Sure, one sec.
So you cut up the physical. Did you fractionalize the NFT?
No, I had to burn the NFT to get the physical.
Oh.
So the NFT no longer exists in his project. Yeah. Yeah. Now I do issue an NFT as a digital certificate of authenticity for all 630 pieces, so you have an individual one there. So, another question over here.
I'm still kind of new to NFT, so I'm just curious, how does the margin go up so high from $2,000 to $50,000? Why does that happen?
Yeah, good question. So, just good old-fashioned supply and demand. So, he has a good business model. He's got a strong brand and limited supply, very good marketing and promotion, brought in the buyers en masse. So that's why he's able to do that. So, yeah, cool, great.
What determines?
Oh, okay. What determines the price? Yeah. So it's just the open market. So bidders, bids and offers happening all the time on the marketplace. So I've seen some go as high as $200,000, just those dot paintings. Yeah. So anyway, okay.
So he did 10,000 dot paintings?
Yes.
And you got one of them?
And I got one of them.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. And now you can own 1/630th of it if you want. But think about it. A currency and small change, you can't really carry around a big artwork, right? But you can carry around one of these. And it's kind of fun. It's a trading. It's a collectible. Collectibles market is super hot right now. So, if you take anything with you tonight, that's the thing. It's collectibles market, scarcity. All of you have hobbies or interests. Monetize those. Learn the market and start collecting and trading. So, some cool things you can do. Question over here behind you.
Thank you, Steve. You're amazing.
Yes, thank you.
So somebody buying Beeple for $69 million, I can't imagine them loving that art just so much that you pay $69 million. So are they hoping that that price will go up eventually?
Yeah, there's lots of theories, but that's kind of what it is. It's a speculative investment. There's also rumors that it was deep-pocketed crypto people wanting to make a statement to the world to bring NFTs on the map. So call it an inside job. Who knows what happened? But it was definitely a headline grabber to make that purchase.
Well, it could also be, like you said, it could be used for tax write-off.
Exactly.
You could invest that $69 million and then turn around and...
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do. Another question back here.
First of all, great ideas.
Thank you.
Really great ideas. I'm curious about, you mentioned that your supply drops every day.
Yes.
Is that on the blockchain? Is that a deflationary token, or how does that work?
No token. I didn't issue any tokens. I have physical artworks, physical assets. So it creates a nice counterbalance to the digitized world. I incorporate crypto by having the Bitcoin treasure, but every one of mine is the actual physical artwork. So anything from very small, like you've seen, to very large pieces. With an NFT attached to it as a certificate.
So how is the supply drop then daily?
So what I do is I'm always creating new artworks. I have many in the pipeline now, but I'll only release one a day. And the way I do it is I just publish it on my website and in the Telegram group. So you can always go refer. My website's kind of like a blockchain. You can go refer back to it, see photos of the artwork, look at the number, the series, the sequence, and you can just hold up the artwork, look at the picture, and you can pick out counterfeits pretty easily. But if you have the certificate of authenticity as an NFT, that pretty much seals the deal.
So you're not burning the artwork?
Nope, I'm not burning anything. I don't want my art burned. But I'll cut up some, right? Any more questions? Excellent. Thank you. So thank you guys, and thanks again for all of you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve. Very, very cool. We haven't really had too much NFT stuff this year. We had one guy last year from Super Rare actually come and speak. But NFTs are definitely really, really hot. And I do like the whole asset provenance type of thing for like existing things. There's some projects out there now that are, there's the younger version of you who owned Pokemon cards or something, right? And like probably have them in a box, and they're actually worth quite a bit of money. And there's companies now that are allowing you to take those. You can get a rating for them. They'll basically NFT them for you, and then they'll sell them for you, right? And so it's a marketplace. So like all your baseball cards, like Magic cards, all the things that your friends thought you were a nerd and now are actually worth some money, or they're sitting under your bed or something. You should definitely look into how that NFT market is becoming a reality for the individual, not just the artist anymore, right? Like things that you just have lying around can now become NFTs. I noticed no one has lined up for our lightning round. Do we have anybody who wants to come and talk today for a few minutes or a minute or so about what they're working on, interested in, or anything like that, you don't have to. We don't bite. You can even come up here at the end afterwards. You can nominate somebody too, but they still have to come up and talk. You should come on. Come on.
Hello, my name is Ramon. My Twitter is 0xcannabis. If you want a free NFT, just DM me or speak to me in person. And I leverage trade crypto and post memes. So, yeah.
What's your Twitter again?
My Twitter is 0xcannabis. So 0xcannabis. And that's marijuana. So, thank you.
And don't forget to sign up for the raffle, right? If you haven't already yet. New users or new attendees, new Edge wallet users, please sign up and enter your chance to get a raffle. While you guys are doing that, and I haven't seen anybody else up here, and I didn't mention this earlier. So Coinstructive is hiring. We are hiring for fraud investigation analysts and people interested in compliance. So for BSA compliance, so doing transaction monitoring, investigating people who are doing suspicious activity, basically being like a private eye in a lot of ways. So even if you don't have a lot of experience, but you're looking for a way to get into crypto, we have part-time positions available, so you don't have to do it full-time. You can get your feet wet and figure out. And there's a couple of people in the room here today. Why don't you raise your hands who are part of my team? Brent and Stephanie. So if you have any questions about compliance or investigations, please see them afterwards. They can give you a heads up so you don't have to come directly to me and be intimidated. You can get some first-hand experience from them. And nobody else wants to talk tonight, I guess, huh? Okay, we got a couple people.
I'll do a shameless plug for Crypto Zombies IO. Has anybody ever heard of that? If you're interested in the Ethereum blockchain, there is Crypto Zombies IO. It's from 0 to 60, how to develop smart contracts. You create a crypto zombie battle game that's NFTs. And it's all free, and it's really easy from start to finish. If anybody's interested in it, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about it as you go through it. Go ahead.
Is that related to Crypto Zombie?
I'm not sure about that. It's created by Loom. Loom's too much knowledgeable on Loom, but yeah, Crypto Zombies, Solidity blockchain stuff. If you're interested in it, let me know. I'd love to talk to you as you go through it. Thanks.
Cool, thank you. That's cool. There was one more question.
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Thank you. Hope this isn't too off topic. I'll start by saying I'm a Christian, and I'm wondering if there's any other Christians here tonight. Okay, great. So, so this is a little odd. It's decentralized. I'm reading, my project this year is reading through the New Testament in Greek for the first time. So I've been a Greek student for a long time, but now I'm really digging in. And I'm coming to the conclusion that the church has become too centralized and needs decentralization. And for any, are there agorists or anarchists here tonight? Maybe a few more of those? Okay. So I want you to know that as a Christian, I'm not a threat to any of that. And I don't think the church is when properly understood. It's an alternate governance system, and I'm writing about this. Anybody here on Hive? Yeah. Hive? Okay. So I've been blogging about this on Hive, and I'd like to invite anybody with any interest. And I welcome everybody from any background to read this stuff and interact with me on Hive. Creator, CREATR, on Hive. So if you can find me there and read about the kingdom of God there in a decentralized fashion. Okay.
Cool. You might actually get people to come and check out
religion again if you tell them it's decentralized. No, crypto is definitely a religion for a lot of us. I'll tell you that. It definitely is. It has a lot of the same. If you look at it from a theological perspective, like it has a lot of the same attributes. So I think, are we ready almost? Okay. So we are getting ready to do the raffle right now. And in the meantime, if any of you play Valorant, I'm always looking for people to play with. So if you don't know what that is, then never mind. So tonight after the event, people will be heading to Princess Pub down Little Italy. Hang out here, follow the street up and make a left. And because we didn't have any pizza tonight, we apologize that we will be providing wings for anybody who shows up in the first, I don't know, was it 20 or 25 minutes? Well, we're going to basically doing one round. So if you didn't get food and you're hungry and you want some wings and a beer, head over to Princess Pub and make sure you get your order in with Paul, because after the first 20 minutes, you got to buy your own stuff. It's not, sorry, no open bar all night. It's not a wedding. But we are hoping that we're going to be able to do another good event this year sometime, where we're going to have, I don't know, we did one a couple years ago and it was a blast, right? Or when we could still do it. We had a huge event. I don't know how many people were here at our New Year's event for 2019. 2020? Oh God, I don't even know what year it was. It was 2019. It was New Year's 2019, and we had about 200 people, and it was a great event. So we'll try to be doing something again where we can get everybody together outside of just the meetup.
All right, we're not going to start with the grand salami. We're going to start with a swag bag. So the first winner, you're going to get a swag bag. If you need a different size of any of the things inside, we don't have different sizes in anything but the shirt. But let me know. Drum roll, please. Peter, do we have Peter in the house? Awesome. This is one of our first timers, yes? Yes. Oh, well, congratulations. Thank you. I'll leave your name in there for the $50. All right. Now give me a real drum roll. Yeah. Tick, tick, tick. Tick. All right. Oh, yay. Awesome. So I will just direct you over to our help desk. They will send you the $50. Also, anyone who downloads Edge tonight for the first time gets $5 in Bitcoin, and they will help you out at the help desk as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Paul. He has some closing comments. And once again, thank you for being here. I told you I'd say it again.
All right, thanks everybody. Sorry for really just recapping what I mentioned earlier in the conference. Thanks for coming. Once again, Edge, self-custody exchange, buy, sell, and trade. Go ahead and download it, edge.app. And if you need help, the help desk is open probably for the next half an hour before we head out. So 30 minutes we'll head over to Princess Pub. As was mentioned, wings and first round of beer is on the meetup since we weren't able to have pizza. So come on by, hang out, talk to hopefully some of the speakers will come out, or the rest of the community as well. I think that is really the next event. Yes, Chris has said hopefully we'll have a great event again sometime this year, but we are having a great event soon this year. So on what we call, or we're trying to make a meme of this, Super Tuesday, second month of the year, 22nd day of the month, on 2022, on a Tuesday, Super Tuesday, is our next meetup, and we have representatives from Zcash, Electric Coin Company, coming by to talk about one of the most private protocols in the blockchain space, as well as a project called Akala. So come on by. We've got it all scheduled. It should be on a meetup page now or really soon. Very, very soon. So RSVP so we can get an idea of how many people are coming so that we can order enough pizza, which will hopefully next month be more than 0 pizzas. So look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks for coming out, and feel free to network for the next half hour, but we will be kicking people out. But once again, continue the party over at Princess Pub just a few minutes away and enjoy some wings and beer. Thanks, everybody.
And once again, if you have any questions about the app, head over to the help desk, which is in the conference room.